Welcome to an age, a great age, the Pirate Age. One Piece Season 1 review. Let's go! Gum Gatling! Yo, what's up guys? TheInsaneGamefreak here to give you, oh my god, a One Piece related video. It's been a while, hasn't it? Anyways, this shall be the review on the first season of One Piece, which you can get on Collections 1 and Collection 2. And if you know how to shop, you can get this around somewhere between $40 and $50. And that's both of them. So for anyone who wants to know, this is kind of like my way of doing the One Piece videos without the manga reviews. And this is, even though a lot of One Piece fans, there's a lot of people who aren't into the series. So I figured these videos will be for you people. And for everyone else who wants to just join in the discussion. I just want to say right now though, if you're going to discuss things about One Piece, please let it be anything from the first season, but nothing past that, because I don't want to spoil people who haven't gotten to, you know, the arcs beyond that, the many arcs beyond that. For anyone who wants to know, Season 1 consists of the first 52 episodes, which covers pretty much everything in the East Blue, except for in the anime. There's a filler arc right after it, but in terms of canon material, it covers everything in the East Blue. It's 52 episodes, and it's literally titled the East Blue Saga. So they explain the whole premise of the story for those who don't know. This series is about pirates. We're in the Pirate Age. There was this, king of the pirates known as Gold D. Roger. Not Gold Roger, Gold D. Roger, who was known as the Pirate King because he attained everything the world had to offer and, found the legendary treasure known as One Piece, hence the title of the series. So, before he was executed, he kind of reiterated the fact that he had found One Piece and he had hid it somewhere on the Grand Line. So if you wanted, you had to go get it. And I believe that was 10 years prior to the beginning of the story. So yeah, that's the whole premise of the story. That it takes place during the age where people are going out to the Grand Line trying to get the One Piece, and you get all these pirates. Enters our main character, Monkey D. Luffy. Whereas the anime will just might as well call him the monkey out of the barrel motherfucker. For anyone who wants to know, the canon with that, the first episode really barely is canon. At least the beginning of the first episode is not canon, just because in the manga, he does pop out of a barrel regardless, but in the manga it makes it more pirate-esque, whereas the anime makes it more... No, the anime makes it more pirate-esque, where the manga makes it more real, I guess is the best way to put it. Anyways, Monkey D. Luffy is a pirate. He's just selling out. He's 17. He's starting his journey to become a pirate king, essentially. Become the pirate king. And essentially what we're dealing with him is him going through his adventures to gather crew members, to get a ship, get what he needs to head out to the Grand Line to go search for One Piece. And in the 52 episodes, you get to meet 5 of his crew members. We're not going to say if there's any more or any less. I'm just going to say that he meets 5 of his... By the time we're done with Season 1, you have 5 people in that fucking boat. That's Luffy, Zoro, first mate, Usopp the sharpshooter, Nami the navigator, and Sanji the cook. Within the 52 episodes, you're going to the respective islands, getting the respective backstories for each character, and kind of going through the whole spiel of whichever arc you're in. Just for anyone who wants to know, the backstories for Luffy and Zoro are probably the shortest. And it kind of gets longer as the series goes on. Literally, it goes from like short to a little longer, but still fairly short, to a little longer, but moderately, and then just fucking long. Not like hardcore long, just like maybe more than 10 episodes long. I'll put it that way. Mind you, I'm not saying 10 episodes are full of flashbacks, but you get my point. Now, the way I've structured this is I'm going to talk about Ishigan characters, and I'm going to talk about the arcs you're dealing with, and then kind of discuss the villains, and then we'll be done. And we'll see if you want to pick up the series, pick up the series. So to get into the characters, Luffy is kind of your stereotypical Shonen Jump hero, except from what I keep hearing from other fans, and in my personal opinion too, he's probably one of the more likable Shonen Jump heroes, even though I don't find the other Shonen Jump heroes to be too annoying. Except for that one strawberry looking motherfucker. Who the fuck names their show after a fucking laundry detergent? Oh, anyways, I'm sidetracking. So anyways, Luffy's kind of he's a dumbass, but he's like brutally honest. That's the way he works. He has a great sense of morals, but he's really stupid when it comes to literally anything logic based except for fighting. Unlike most Shonen Jump characters, he doesn't start off the gate like weak as shit and strange to get stronger. No, this nigga comes out the gate being pretty strong. The only reason why he's still an underdog-ish character is not really because he's not strong, but it's because he's not known. See, the way Luffy does things, Luffy doesn't do anything intentionally to get someone else's attention. He just does what he fucking feels like it. And if people are watching him, they know the fuck well. That's the way he rolls. And, you know, it's enjoyable for the most part. He has a lot of dumb shit humor, but I'm going to say this right now. One Piece is very comedy-oriented, and it really has to deal with how the interaction of the crewmates, or just characters, interact, period. Now you go on to Zoro, the first mate. Zoro, well actually, wait. Now to get into Luffy's fighting style and his abilities. In this world of One Piece, you were introduced to something called the Devil Fruits, which are essentially these fruits that have been cursed by the sea, and they all wield some type of magical property to them, and allow you to have weird-ass powers. There are three types, Paramecia, Zoan, and Logia, and each of those types are referring to, Paramecia is more of like body transformations, Zoan's more animal-based transformations, and Logia is elemental transformations. Luffy ate a Paramecia fruit when he was younger, when he was hanging out with this crew, this well-known crew, mind you, called the Red Hair Pirates, led by Shanks, who, as you get further in the story, you find a little bit more about, but just for the sake of the first season, the dude's name is Shanks, he's a badass, and Luffy accidentally ate one of his devil fruits, and became a Paramecia type, and now has the ability to stretch. So all of his attacks are stretch related. So let's just put it that way. So anyways, that's his whole basis behind his techniques. On top of that, he also has a lot of techniques that are named after weapons, because it's this thing that draws back when he was younger. He has this whole issue with like calling all of his techniques gun-related moves because he thinks that his techniques are actually stronger than the guns themselves. Like, for example, one of his basic attacks is gun pistol, because he thinks his punch is stronger than a pistol. He has pistol, Gatling, bullet. He has a lot of just gun-related fight techniques. And he fights really raw, mind you, too. So he's more of he's a close combat fighter, hand-to-hand. Now we're going to the first mate, Zoro. Zoro's mild backstory is essentially that he had a rivalry with this girl named Kuina. Kuina died when they were younger, and now his dream is to become the world's greatest swordsman. I'm not going to tell you how they meet, but let's just say Luffy and Zoro meet on the weirdest circumstances, and Zoro's previous occupation of being a pirate kind of contradicts him being a pirate. And if you like subtle humor, that's pretty funny. I'm just saying. The way he fights with swords, if you couldn't guess by now. But he doesn't fight the typical, whoa, one sword, or when you double hand a sword, you get stronger, all of a sudden you go, draw! If anyone got that reference, good for you. Or, the two-handed sword. No, he fights with three swords. And you're probably thinking, what the fuck, how does he fight with three swords? You can always use this as a weapon. It's funny, because women do that all the time. Ha! But anyways, he fights three-sword style, which means he's literally cutting the shit out of his opponents. Other than that, there's really not too much else to say, so we'll skip to the next person. Nami, the Navigator, your first female crew member. Now, unlike most other female characters, Nami is very independent, but still is a character that takes a while to get used to, and you really won't even like her until you get to her backstory, which is near somewhere between the middle and end of the first season. It's kind of hard to explain her backstory because her backstory has a lot to it, and she's the one who has the more complicated backstory. Let's just say Nami does not like fish sticks. You have to watch the anime to get the joke or to get the reference, but let's just say Nami does not like fish sticks. And the reason behind that, and this is also the reason why she's the way she is somewhat. Nami essentially is a gold digger. That's the best way to put it. She's all about the money. When you first introduced to her, she's all about the fucking money. She wants to get money, but she's a damn good navigator, and no one can tell her shit when it comes to the weather. Her whole goal is to, draw a map of the world. If you haven't gotten the theme running with the show, it's about dreams. Just throwing that out there, but that's her dream, to create a map of the whole world. She likes money and tangerines, and she doesn't like fish sticks. So we're just going to keep it at that, and we're going to go to our next man, Usopp. Usopp is the quote-unquote sniper of the crew, but his personality is really mainly that he's mainly a coward, but when he feels the need to stand the fuck up, he will stand the fuck up. But his whole goal, the whole thing with him is that he's really a sharpshooter. He's a pirate fanboy when you first meet him. That's the best way to put it. He's a coward, but he's a pirate fanboy because he loves pirates. His father's a pirate, and the cool thing you learn is that pirate. Remember that dude Shanks I mentioned a little while ago? Usopp's father is a part of Shanks' crew, which is really fucking awesome. Which means Luffy and Usopp automatically have a connection. On top of the fact that they become like best friends on that fucking boat. Like, you'll notice that within the first fucking season. They become, like, fucking best friends on that goddamn boat. Just because of the attitude style. Usopp is one of those characters you'll enjoy purely, if nothing else, the comedic shit he does. Because he's really talented. He can make weapons. He has really weird tactics, but he has a really weird way of fighting. He's probably one of the only main characters I can think of serious who has a really, really unique way of fighting. Even though all he's doing is this, there's a little bit more to it depending... It's a coward's way of shooting a bullet, essentially. And essentially, the dude is so fucking nice with that fucking slingshot, he doesn't need a gun, because he can rape you without the gun. That's how badass Usopp is with the gun. I mean, the slingshot. And then finally, we get to our final crew member, Sanji. Sanji comes from a floating restaurant known as the Baratier. Sanji, all you need to know is that he is the only character who fights with his feet. This dude does not fight with his hands at all. And there's a cool policy he has behind it. Because he's a chef, he knows for a fact that his hands are the most valuable thing to him. So his whole ideal about it is he will never fight with his hands because his hands are so important. That's why he only fights with his feet. He's a badass chef. He will kick the shit out of you and make you the best fucking hamburger you've eaten in your goddamn life. Also, he's a pervert. I guess that should be known. The reason why you can tell is because almost every hot girl he runs across, he wants to fuck. So, is it safe to say that Sanji is the black man of the group? Yeah, man, that's racist. Yes, it is. Well, that is a rundown of the crew in themselves. Let's go into like the story arcs. Essentially, what you were introduced to. Here are the arcs in the order. Alvida arc, Captain Morgan arc, Buggy arc, Kuro arc, Don Krieg arc, Arlong arc, and I guess you could call it Smoker arc, I guess, is the best way. Or no, Logtown arc. Yeah, that's the way that word works. Now, to just explain what's the gist of each one of these. Alvida is the first damn episode. Captain Morgan is the second episode. The Buggy stuff is your introduction to Nami. Like, literally, it's like Luffy, Zoro, Nami, Usopp, Sanji, backstory for Nami, and then just general basic kind of shit. Fucking around cool shit arc. To explain, since these are the first two episodes, there's no reason to explain those. The Buggy arc is essentially Luffy being stupid, getting caught by a bird, running into a clown pirate known as Buggy the fucking Clown, who you might want to catch an eye on because he doesn't go away, even though he looks like he goes away. I'm just hinting that for you. Then, you know, Nami agreeing to join the crew, even though she's only in it for her own selfish gains. The Kuro arc is when you meet Usopp and you're introduced to another douchebag villain, who honestly to me is my favorite villain just because of his mindset, and I like the way he fucking talks. I tire of this troublesome life. Out of back attack! Anyways, you cut off to the Barate arc, which is essentially that arc is the introduction of Sanji, but also the introduction of Don Krieg as the villain, who is a character who's really like the definition of a dick. Like just an annoying, he's essentially like the jocks at school. It's just like, dude, shut the fuck up. It's essentially, eventually he does shut the fuck up, but you know, this is how you go. And you get introduced to Sanji as a character in the whole Baratier thing. And then you get to the Arlong arc, which is the first, like, really, really weird arc. When I mean weird, it's the only arc that doesn't deal with humans. The Arlong arc, I'm just gonna say right now, deals with mermen, which essentially are male, like fishmen, essentially. So if you are not a fan of weird shit, I feel sorry for you, and you probably may not even want to watch the rest of the series. That's just a warning. That's a precursor warning to you, because that's just the tip of the iceberg. The weird shit that happens in this show is just insane on certain levels, depending on what arc you're in. All I'm gonna say right now is transvestites, mermaids, giants, talking animals and shit. Oh yeah, and fucking zombies. Just throw all those things at you. And then you finally get to the Logtown arc, which is essentially, Logtown, for anyone who wants to know, is the place where Gold D. Roger died. And it's kind of a cool setup because it's the last canon arc they go to before heading to the Grand Line. And you're reintroduced to a few characters. Introduced to a new one. You're also introduced to the Marines, like formally, like real fucking Marines. Because the Captain Morgan arc was bullshit. And you're introduced to the dude named Smoker. Watch him. Let's just put it this way. He is like Luffy's first Marine rival. And this dude is a badass on like 7 different levels. You'll enjoy Smoker. I'll put it that way. You'll enjoy Smoker. If anything, you will enjoy Smoker in that arc. But other than that, I believe that's all the story elements. So I guess I'll give my final thoughts on the first season. The first season is kind of getting you introduced to how Oda plans to do his style. Oda is the creator of the series. You get introduced to his style, the way he wants to do things, his kind of mindset behind why he does certain things with certain characters. For people who want to know, the biggest drawback to him, though, is either you're going to get disturbed by the art style, which I don't think is a valid reason for not liking the series, but, you know, I know a lot of people have an issue with the art style. The art style, I warn you, is not typical shit. It is really weird, and it's really interesting if you're into that. But if you can't stand, like, new drawing artwork, you're not going to like this, because the artwork throws off everybody. I think almost everybody who's seen One Piece will tell you the artwork is not typical of any level. The other thing that might throw you off is just the weird shit and the weird designs of characters in here, because some characters look insane. Now, mind you, and I will warn you right now, this is like the most normal looking set of characters you're going to run across, because it only gets weirder from here. I want you to know that. That is my pre-warning. To me, the best things about this show is the comedy, the camaraderie, the music is fucking awesome to me. Like, this is, to me, I literally would almost say this is probably one of my, this is probably, either, if not my favorite, one of my favorite OSTs for a shonen anime, period. Because it's you can reuse, like, almost all these tracks in, like, epic, and, like, everyday situations, and it's always fucking epic. So, for anyone who wants to know, the music to me is fucking awesome, but that's all on you. The openings and endings, it's kind of, it depends on your taste. To me, I enjoy them. I won't say they're the fucking best, but I do enjoy the openings and endings. And honestly, also, just a warning, the comedy's like hit or miss with me, personally. If the way it works with me in the comedy, and it may work for most people, is if you like Jackass, more American-style humor, you'll like One Piece. But if you like more like Japanese slapstick humor, to me, that's the best way to explain it, because literally, One Piece's humor is not like Japan-oriented. It's more like American slapstick kind of deal. It's like, I think Larry described it best. It's kind of like Jackass humor in some sense, depending on certain scenes. A lot of the scenes are Jackass humor, but it does have its clever, humorous moments too. That's just all I'm saying. But that is the first season in a nutshell. It's a fun fucking season. You're introduced to your mains for the most part. I'm not going to say they're the last ones or there's more to come, but let's just say this much. That's your fucking mains. Those are the motherfuckers you need to get used to. So if you don't like any of the characters or how they're interacting with each other, you may not want to deal with it, because those characters don't go away. Those characters aren't dead. Currently, where I am caught up. These characters are not gone. These characters stick around. That's all I'm going to say. Well, essentially, that's the first season. So, you know, if you haven't watched One Piece before, here's your incentive. If you still don't give a shit after, I'll put it this way: if you don't like One Piece by the time you hit episode 30 something, like around episode 30s and the 40s, if you get around episode 30 something, I'll say this: the cutoff point is around episode like 45, I believe. If you don't like the series around episode 45, don't just say fuck it, because you're not going to. Either that, or it's going to take you way too long to give a shit. I'll put it that way. If you don't like the series around those episodes, and if people really want a shorter cutoff time, I would say episode 13. Yeah, no, episode like 15 or 16. If you don't like it there either, that's if you want a shorter cutoff time. But to me, the main cutoff time should be around episode 45. If you don't like it by episode 45, don't even fucking watch it. Episode 13, you may like the later arcs, as I don't know. Because there's different types of One Piece fans. I'm the kind of One Piece fan that actually enjoys the majority of the old school shit. A lot of old One Piece fans, a lot of new ones anyway, dick ride because of later arcs. Not because of the early shit, but because of later arcs. So, just remember that. When you're talking to a One Piece fan, if he tells you his favorite arc, like if he tells you that the first arcs are shit, you're talking to the wrong dude. That's all I'll say. If you're talking to someone who says the first arcs are shit, you're talking to the wrong fucking dude. That's all I'm saying. But anyways, that is my season 1 review of One Piece. Tell me how you like the style of me doing this and shit. Tell me if I should switch hats, because you guys know I have other hats. And, just give your thoughts on the season 1. If you've watched it, tell me what are your favorite things about season 1. Who are your favorite characters in season 1, or your favorite villains. And if you are new to the series and you are watching One Piece, from this review, come back and tell me the same shit. Tell me who you like. Tell me who you don't like. And for the people who don't like it, tell me why. Just give me, I'm curious. It's always interesting to hear someone's perspective of someone who doesn't like the series. Someone who doesn't like the series for a lot of things. Oh yes, one final warning. The series is slow paced, but if you didn't realize, One Piece has over 500 and some fucking episodes. So if you didn't realize the series was slow paced because of that, yeah. But anyways, that's pretty much all I have to say. So links to buy the collections, these collections, are in the link below, along with my other stuff. And life's a game, play to win. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!